in an era where they say there are no free lunches, he was invited to White House and given lunch.
That in case they need help of Pakistan for Iran, for air bases, for recovery, for rehabilitation of US soldiers, will he play ball?
Either Asim Munir will survive or Imran Khan will survive. One has to die.
I don't see Imran Khan coming out of jail so long as Asim Munir is in power.
Khan of Kalat wanted to be a part of India, and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan wanted to be a part of India.
Ghaffar Khan very tragically told Gandhiji, "You have thrown us to the wolves." Compulsions of Pandit Nehru, despite Gandhiji's pressure, they don't do it. Yet they went ahead and accepted to hold a referendum.
Are Baloch in a position to gain independence from Pakistan Army? They've burnt Baloches alive, dipped them in burning coal tar, threw them from helicopters.
Hindustan ka jo yaar hai, gaddar hai, gaddar hai.
Third-rate country, and we permit Pakistan to talk to us as equals.
They're not part of Pakistan. Legally, nowhere does it say that Gilgit-Baltistan is a part of Pakistan.
Those people sometimes say they want to be a part of India. Do you think they can be a part of India? Our relationship with Taliban seem to be on a mend.
That he who wants to be emperor of Hindustan must first control Kabul.
Playing cricket with Pakistan help improve ties with that country.
No, but they'll see it as a sign of weakness.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Chakravyuh Podcast. I'm Gaurav Sawant. My guest today is very special. He's written 4 books on Pakistan. He's edited 4 books on Pakistan. He's served in Pakistan and he was Special Secretary in the Cabinet Secretariat or in the Research and Analysis Wing or RAW. He knows Pakistan like the back of his hand, and it is my proud privilege to welcome on the Chakravyuh Podcast Tilak Devasher. Sir, welcome on India Today.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Gaurav, thank you so much for calling me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
And it's great you are here. It's great you are here at this time because a lot is happening in Pakistan. And when you listen to some of the analysts in Pakistan, they say they get to know more about their country through you and your writings and your books, than they knew otherwise. So let's begin by asking you, is a constitutional coup of sorts underway already in Pakistan?
So there are a lot of straws in the wind. And a lot of them have been originated by the Army Chief Asim Munir wanting to become the president of Pakistan. He doesn't want to do it through a military coup because then sanctions kick in, IMF funding will stop. So he wants to do it constitutionally. And we can talk in detail. The government has now got the 2/3 majority that they need to make a constitutional amendment. But the other half of the equation is to get rid of Asif Zardari, who is the president. Now, Asif Zardari is no pushover. So they will have to maneuver in such a manner that Bilawal Bhutto is given something substantial, which then Zardari feels satisfied that his next generation has been looked after, and then he's gradually eased out. So a lot of things are happening below the surface in Pakistan constitutionally because of the ambitions of Asim Munir.
And Asim Munir is a very ambitious man. He's actually orchestrated his career in such a way that he ensured he does, he became DGISI. He tried to get close to Imran Khan. He couldn't because when he ratted out his wife, he got into trouble. But then he ensured he became army chief. He ensured that he became field marshal despite losing to India in Operation Sindoor. And now he wants to be president.
Yeah.
Can he do that? I mean, within the army, is everyone with him?
You see, the bar is that constitutionally, a serving officer of somebody enjoying an office of profit cannot become president. So the constitution has to be amended to allow that to happen. Right? But you mentioned orchestrated. His promotion as 3-star, which took place in 2018, yeah. 18. He didn't pick up his rank for 2 months.
That's right. Yeah.
He and his batch were promoted in September. He disappeared for 2 months. I mean, disappeared in the sense,
Disappeared.
I don't know where he went. No, I mean, I'm not aware of it. All his other people who were promoted took over their rank in September. So they retired after 4 years in September 2022. This man picked up his rank on 27th November 2018. So he was due for retirement on 27th November 2022.
And even
2
then,
days
sir,
before
Bajwa.
Bajwa retired. So the government, as per the Army Act, gave him a retention order for 2 days and then made him Army Chief. But he ensured that he was the senior most Lieutenant General to be considered
So
for
he was
Army Chief.
calculating-
He was calculating way back in 2018 that this is how the scenario will unfold.
And he's seen as this radical Islamist general. He almost sees himself as this Islamic warrior who's fighting some kind of a jihad.
I don't know if he's in the Zia mold or not. He's yet to come out in his full potential. But yes, he's Hafizul Quran. He knows the Quran by heart. He quotes from the Quran every now and then to impress everybody with his Islamic credentials. But whether he is a radical Islamist like Zia, bringing in all those Islamization measures, time will tell when he has full authority and control.
Now, in an era where they say there are no free lunches, he was invited to White House and given lunch. There are some reports that seem to indicate that he was, if Trump is transactional, what's the transaction here?
I think Trump was sounding him out, sizing him up, that in case they need help of Pakistan for Iran, for air bases, for recovery, for rehabilitation of US soldiers, will he play ball?
Will he?
No, that's the other point. So the chap with him was DGISI Asim Malik,
Who's also NSA.
who's also NSA. And in case Asim Munir were to step down or step up, he would also be in contention for the Army Chief. So I think the US was trying to get a sense of both these persons. And also I'm sure Iran would have figured very much. So the quid pro quo would probably be on Iran, to sound them out on Iran. Use of the bases, especially, in Quetta, Shamsi, Jacobabad, other things like that. So that was
मोदी जी ने जाके जेकबाबाद तो बॉम्ब करा दिया एयरफोर्स से. तो इनका तो
I'm
game
sure
plan.
the US would not be too happy with that.
No wonder US is giving us grief.
Yeah.
Sir.
So, but the other interesting thing about the lunch, you would have noticed the visuals, his limousine couldn't go up into the porch of the White House. He had to get off before and walk. And if you saw the body language through the bars, he was embarrassed. Okay, field marshal and you're making a field marshal walk. So I think then he convinced him that next time he comes, he'll come as president.
Oh, that's right. So if he's head of state, his limousine enters
comes.
White
Because
House.
the previous army chiefs like Ayub, Zia,
Musharraf.
were all heads of government, heads of state. Their vehicles moved in. So lunch, khaya, nahi kiya, I don't know what happened. But this was the one takeaway as far as I'm concerned, that he made up his mind that, look, this is not on. It is embarrassing for me to have to walk. So I'm going to change my designation, my status, and make sure that I'm president.
So if he were to become president, Asif Zardari will have to step down. If Asif Zardari would want his future secured, which would mean he would want Bilawal Bhutto Zardari to become not foreign minister, but at least prime minister, or foreign minister or prime minister. What would he want? What is rehabilitation for Bilawal Bhutto?
You see, he can't become prime minister because the PPP...
Shahbaz Sharif is there.
Because the PPP doesn't have enough seats in the National Assembly. The PMLN has more, and they are not going to relinquish. They want PMLN would not relinquish Punjab, because Punjab is, the bread and butter, the bastion. So I don't know whether deputy prime minister, like what Ishaq Dar is at the moment, and foreign minister, or some such thing, which will then reassure Zardari that his son's future is safe.
But would PMLN be okay with it? I mean, I know Shahbaz Sharif is known as boot polish.
Yeah, so PMLN, once the Asim Munir says, ki, nod and a wink, they have no backbone left. They have nothing to resist the army with. So they will just follow in line.
And courts also on board, because courts also seem to be split in Pakistan.
Well, after the 26th Amendment, what the 26th Amendment did was to create a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court. So all the constitutional and really the cases which are important now come to the constitutional bench. They made sure that the Chief Justice of the constitutional bench and the bench itself is packed with those judges who are favorable to the government.
The Sarkari judges.
Yeah. So, in this particular case, last year in 24 July, the Supreme Court had given a decision on the reserved seats. You see, in the constitutional arrangement in Pakistan, you have elected seats
And representative.
and you have 70 reserved seats for women and minorities.
Correct.
Now, those are crucial in forming governments or even in two-thirds majority. So the Election Commission of Pakistan took the view that since the PTI had not contested as a party, but as independents, they were not entitled to any reserved seats. But the Supreme Court judgment of July 2024 said, no, you have to give the reserved seats to PTI. In which case, the PTI would have become the largest party in Parliament. Can you imagine the Election Commission? This is the full bench of the Supreme Court. The Election Commission and the government refused to implement the judgment.
Correct.
They rammed through the 26th Amendment, which created a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court, and this bench overturned the decision of the full bench of the Supreme Court. It doesn't happen. Once a full bench of Supreme Court takes a view,
It's the law.
it's the law.
Yeah.
But this constitutional bench upturned that decision and said, no, PTI is not entitled to any seats. And they distributed those reserved seats among the PMLN and the PPP.
PPP.
The strange situation that has happened, for example, in KPK, the PMLN had got 3 seats. They've got 5 additional seats for the reserved seats. It's supposed to be on the basis of proportional representation. PPP had 2. They've got 3 additional seats.
And PTI is out.
No, PTIs, they were in a majority anyway. It makes no difference to them.
I mean, no
but the
proportional seats.
farce of proportional representation and the farce of democracy that you are getting more seats than what
That
you have
you
actually
won.
won in elections. So it's really farcical.
So
So now this allows the PML government a 2/3 majority in which they can now change the constitution as per what Asim Munir wants.
So the change in constitution would then ensure Asim Munir can be army chief and president of Pakistan. And he would want that presidential form of government where his word is the law in Pakistan.
Yeah.
What does the prime minister then do?
He's the figurehead. You see, after he met Trump, he addressed the journalists. He made 2 very interesting statements there. One, he said that he really praised the American system, the American presidential system. That was a clear hint which way his mind was working. And secondly, he said that I hope to be able to resolve Pakistan's problems politically, diplomatically and all that before I leave, which could be around 2035.
Wow, yeah, that's right. So he already wants to remain in power for at least the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And their dictators have lasted around 10, 11 years.
That's been the normal, 9 to 11.
9 to 11 years, yeah.
2030. I mean, this is a real giveaway. So presidential system, and I'm sure when he goes to Sri Lanka, one of the things he'll be looking at is how does an executive presidency actually works. Because they also have a president, they have a prime minister. Even the French system,
Correct.
the president and prime
The
minister.
powerful president, but they also have a prime minister.
Only in the case of US, there is no prime minister.
Correct.
So I'm sure he's looking at, or his staff is looking at these various things about the presidential system.
Do they have a time frame in your view by when he wants to do this?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just...
But he's completely in control. I mean, he's the all-powerful leader of Pakistan already.
Except does not have the kind of public support and adulation which Pakistan Army in the past has had.
And that's because of Imran Khan.
That is, because of Imran Khan. He's really dented their prestige, the aura and charisma that the army had, and the security situation. You see, with the kind of hits that the Pakistan Army is taking on a daily basis.
Yeah, apparently they're losing 4 to 5 soldiers every day, either in Balochistan or in KPK.
According to this Global Terrorism Index, they are now the second country faced with terrorism, maximum amount of terrorism. And last year, in 2024, the security forces lost 685 people. That is army, paramilitary and police. 685 a year means 57 casualties a month.
Yeah.
Gaurav, can you imagine 57 casualties month after month for the security forces?
Apparently, the soldiers don't want to go when they're deputed to areas beyond Peshawar. They just don't want to go. They don't want to serve in Balochistan.
Yeah. And I think for reasons that all the generals are sitting in their offices,
Yeah.
and these guys, and these are all Punjabis.
Yeah.
You see, for a Punjabi, he's used to fighting in plains. Infantry, regular infantry. For fighting either in KPK, the mountainous territory, or in the deserts and mountainous areas of Balochistan, he's like fish out of water.
Yeah.
And they don't have the kind of counter-terrorism training which, let's say, the Indian Army has been having.
Yeah.
Whatever the terrain, the Indian Army is always there. Pakistan Army is not like that. So they have a big problem. So the prestige of the army, being all powerful, yes, in name certainly, but the prestige has been dented by Imran Khan and by the fact that people are asking that if you can't protect yourself, हमारी क्या protection करोगे? How will you protect us?
So I'll come to the security situation in just a moment because I want to talk at length about it. I want to, for a moment, we've talked about PPP and PMLN. What about Imran Khan? Because apparently 5th of August and 5th of August, both in India and Pakistan become big days.
And Bangladesh.
And Bangladesh, yes, they become big days. And we're hoping to see what our own government does on the 5th of August this year. But Imran Khan, or at least his party, is talking about this massive jalsa for his release from jail. Will Asim Munir relent? Because they say एक म्यान में दो तलवारें नहीं रह सकती. And in Pakistan, when you talk to Pakistanis, they say either Asim Munir will survive or Imran Khan will survive. One has to die or leave the country. Asim Munir looks all powerful.
Yeah. You see, this stems from when Zia had arrested Bhutto.
Yeah.
And he was contemplating, should he release him or should he not release him? Then one politician told Zia, ऐसा है जनरल साहब, कबर एक है, लाशें दो हैं. या तुम जाओगे अंदर या भुट्टो जाएगा अंदर. Both of you can't survive. So that tradition has continued.
So 77, the coup, and 79, Bhutto was gone, hanged.
Yeah. So even now, cover एक ही है. Asim Munir or Imran Khan.
And will history repeat itself? What is your understanding?
See, I don't see Imran Khan coming out of jail. So long as Asim Munir is in power. So long as he's in power, he can't afford to have Imran Khan out in the streets because then he's finished. And if Imran Khan is freed, he will make sure that Asim Munir goes behind bars. He's tried under Article 6 or whatever.
He messed around with his wife, tarnished her reputation. Imran Khan's sons apparently, from an earlier wife, Jemima Goldsmith, their kids, their sons have apparently been in the United States campaigning for Imran's release.
Yes, they have met a lot of people and they're supposed to come to Pakistan to take part in the 5th August protest. Now, I don't know whether their government will allow them to come. And even if they come, do they know Urdu? I don't know. I never heard them speak in Urdu. So what are they going to do? If they're going to speak in English, then they might as well do it through, Zoom or something like that.
Because
what are they going to do?
Because Bilaval's Urdu is also quite dodgy at times. Very accented anyways.
Yeah. So now the 5th August, yes, Imran Khan has given a call, but there's a lot of infighting in the party. You see, he's been out of action for 2 years, so there's a lot of various camps. And here the conflict is between the Punjab chapter of the PTI and the central leadership. There is still no clarity. Will the protest begin on 5th of August? Is it a one-day protest? Or will it culminate? It has already begun, will culminate on the 5th? Or what is Ali Amin Gandapur, the Chief Minister of KPK, has said, हम 90 days का ultimatum दे रहे हैं. Now what does 90 days mean? Starting from 5th, culminating on the 5th. So there is a lot of chaos as yet.
So cadre cannot be mobilized.
Yeah. To arrange a protest like in Pakistan, you have to get transport, bring people from all over. You have to arrange for food, the big digs that are made. You need to organize sleeping arrangements. You can't do it कि 5th को चलो 6th को करते हैं. It can't happen that way.
True.
So the Punjab chapter is saying,
what are we to do?
What are we to do? You have to mobilize. You have to give us time. You have to give us resources so that we can do it. Right now, so I am wondering, of course, there's still 5 days to go. So let's see what happens. But as of now, the party is dithering here and there.
So, Imran Khan, did you expect that he would be able to survive so long in jail? Because many had argued, given his background, given the kind of luxury he was used to and the opulence of his lifestyle, also from what his ex-wife had written, he wouldn't be able to survive in jail 2 days, 3 days, and he survived over 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I think he's been well looked after in jail.
Well looked after.
He's been given special facilities. things like gym, desi murga, how to eat and to exercise and, stuff like that. But yes, still, 2 years is a very long time for somebody who's used to a softer, a softer kind of life. And there were a lot of reports earlier that he had to have his fixes every evening.
Yes.
And in jail, I don't think he'll be getting those.
Unless he's being provided those fixes to fix him.
I wonder.
So-
So, but yes, I must say hats off to his perseverance, to his courage,
But
persistence.
that would make Asim Munir a very worried man, because
Absolutely.
but there were reports that seemed to indicate that after that May 9th revolution or revolt in Pakistan, which was a treat to watch, I must say, when the Corps Commander's house is
In
being
Lahore,
in Lahore, it's being set ablaze, and
Chaps walking off with a peacock
yeah,
and
or,
strawberries.
from his kitchen, or PAF base Miawali targeted, their
Yeah.
planes being targeted, ISI headquarters or Chitral Scouts office being targeted. I made sure we played that very extensively. But tell me this: after that, one, that was a blow to the reputation of the Pakistan Army. It showed a split in the Pakistan Army, and Pakistan Army then cracked down on Imran supporters. Did they succeed in breaking the back of Imran Khan's supporters? Because I believe some generals' wives and daughters were put in jail.
Yeah. So, it's very difficult to gauge support without elections. You can't, but from whatever, anecdotal stories and information, he continues to be extremely popular amongst the urban youth, the middle class, because he has given them a dream.
Of a Riyasat-e Madina or
Yeah,
something.
Riyasat-e-Mazina, Hakiki Azadi,
Hakiki Azadi.
and this, couple of other slogans. The sense of hopelessness in Pakistan is so much that anybody who can sell a dream, people will follow him blindly.
So why
Now,
can't Asim
nobody
Munir-
knows. Nobody knows what does Hakiki Azadi mean.
Yeah.
If I don't have a job, will Hakiki Azadi give me a job? And if so, what is the economic policy? Nobody's even asking these questions. The fact that he has said, bas, that is it.
No, but so why can't Asim Munir sell that dream?
Question of popularity. Imran Khan's whole persona, he's now become a cult figure. He can do no wrong, he can say no wrong. They brought out so many videos and horrible tapes of his, all kinds of.
Yeah.
It made no difference to the people. It made no difference because the sense of hopelessness, the frustration, कि कोई तो रास्ता दिखाओ. The Sharifs are discredited.
Yeah.
Because they're busy making their own money. Again, his line. You see, when the army wanted to discredit the Sharifs, they egged on Imran Khan to say that the Sharifs are corrupt. You are the only honest guy.
Yeah. And when their money is parked in the UK and overseas.
And everybody believes that Imran Khan is the only honest guy. Everybody else is corrupt. So
Is
if
he
they
honest? Is he honest? Your
Maybe
appreciation?
personally it doesn't require, but the party certainly and the people around him are certainly making money. His wife was making money,
His wife was making a lot of
enormous
money.
amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, they were selling off state gifts and
Yeah.
not sending that money to Tosha Khana,
Yeah.
but keeping their money. So that's corruption.
Absolutely. And that watch which
And that
MBS had
watch,
given,
yeah.
that kind of thing. So his popularity is something which Asim Munir or Nawaz Sharif or Shehbaz or Mariam even just cannot compete with.
Is Asim Munir completely in control of Pakistan, also in terms of control of the army? Are all the co-commanders with him? There were some reports that seemed to indicate that there was a degree of opposition to him even amongst the co-commanders,
see,
and the
that-
seniors didn't like him.
That doesn't happen in the army in Pakistan. The highest decision-making body is the co-commanders conference. They will debate issues pretty democratically. People will have opposition to something. They will express their views. But once a final decision is taken, everybody falls in line. They may like Imran Khan. They may be popular. Imran Khan may be popular in the army. But that doesn't mean 111 Brigade commander going to get up and go and attack Gujranwala or something like that. That's not going to happen. Personally, they can be, their families can be supportive of Imran Khan. The retired veterans would be supportive of Imran Khan, but so what? Once the popularity of the army chief and the hold of the army chief, they're two separate things. The army chief may not be popular amongst the soldiers and the army officers, but he has control. no colonel or no general is going to go up and stage a coup.
So there won't be a coup like that in Pakistan.
Not at the moment. There have been attempted coups in the past. This Abbasi fellow, for example, or this
Or that Ziauddin who was egged on by Nawaz Sharif.
He was appointed by Nawaz Sharif. And you know what happened there? The defense ministry refused to send the notification. Because the notification was not sent,
Correct.
people said, we don't accept it.
Correct.
Unless वो section officer of the defense ministry का notification आएगा कि he has been appointed army chief, he is not army chief.
Because it was very fascinating. I covered the Kargil war, and after that in October, we were watching those images on Pakistan television of the 111 Brigade going into
Over the
PTV,
TV, yeah.
over that railing into PTV office and arresting the people.
Yeah.
And through the night, I was talking to friends in the government here and across just to know what is happening in Pakistan. So when that coup happened, we don't foresee a coup like that happening in Pakistan.
You see, unless there's a black swan event, at the moment, no. I mean, I'll stick my neck out and say at the moment, no. Simply because Pakistan Army has not had a tradition of this. You know, the chain of command holds. The
Because they're all
unity-
making money on the side.
Yeah. Otherwise, if there is some sort of a disruption, somebody stages a coup, then all those Fauji Foundation, Bharia Foundation and all that,
That corner plot foundation.
yeah, F-16 is a corner plot, you know. That. So all that will be in jeopardy. So they all hang together or hang separately.
Very interesting. Hang together or they'll be hanged separately. And Bhutto did hang some. But, you know, when we are talking about corner plots, Pakistan Army has never won a war either against India or even if they were assisting, you know. Now Taliban is killing them. Now Taliban is using drones to kill Pakistan Army. And there's panic in Pakistan. They don't know how to deal with drones killing them on the AFPAC border.
Yeah.
What's happening there, sir? Because let's also talk about what's happening in KPK right now.
Yeah. So, you know, AFPAC, in fact, there's a linked issue. We can talk about that later, about Afghan refugees.
Sir.
Miserable condition.
And this guy forced them back into Afghanistan.
Not only them, Iran has forced even more. Iran has pushed out about 500 million people just in the month of July.
Sir.
Now, AFPAC, there is a structural issue. Despite they may talk about brotherly this and that, the structural issue is the Durand Line.
Correct.
No Afghan government since 1949 has accepted the Durand Line as its border with Afghanistan.
Correct.
Pakistan says it is a international border. Afghanistan says it doesn't exist. And shall I give a little technical background to
Yes,
this?
because they created a fence and the Taliban tore down that fence.
Yeah.
Afghanistan says our border is, Peshawar is part of Afghanistan.
The last treaty between Afghanistan and British India was 1921 Treaty of Kabul.
Sir.
Right? That had a very interesting clause that the treaty was valid for 3 years. After 3 years, any of the two sides, Afghanistan or British India, by giving 12 months notice, could rescind the treaty. The rescinding the treaty means this is basically a replacement of the Durand Line. So all those treaties will get rescinded. This is 1921. In 1949, a Loya Jirga, which is the highest apex body in Afghanistan, met. And they rescinded this treaty, they rescinded the Durand Line, the 1876 Treaty of Gandamak, and all treaties. So as far as the Afghans are concerned, there is no border, demarcated border with Pakistan. And no Afghan government since 1949, whether it was the monarchy, whether it was the communists, whether it was the Mujahideen, whether it was the Taliban, have changed this position. So for all of them, there is no boundary.
Wow.
And Pakistan has tried, the Taliban 1.0, thrice they went to Mullah Omar and said, ki aap Durand Line ko maan lo. He was so furious, he threw out that, I think the Home Minister had gone to discuss this, and it threw him out of his office. He said, get out. He was eating lunch. In fact, in the Pashtun tradition, it was really something very, very odd but he was so upset that how dare you ask me to accept the Durand Line. Taliban 2.0 have said the same thing.
Yeah.
They've gone even ahead, as you mentioned, uprooting the fence. So because of this structural problem, and then added to this, the Taliban are supporting the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan.
Yes.
Because, you know, when the Taliban needed help, it was the tribals in FATA, the ex-FATA, who supported them.
So this is when after 9/11, when the Americans were bombing Taliban,
Yeah.
all these Talibans came into NWFP
Yeah, and Fatah.
and Fatah.
So as per
Federally administered tribal areas.
As per Pashtunwali, now that the tribals require help,
So Pashtunwali is the Pashtun Code of Honor.
yeah, they can't but help them. And they've told Pakistan, look, we can't do it. We can help facilitate talks. आप बात करो, आप अपने उलमा को बुलाओ, you talk to them, you resolve the issue. But we cannot fight against them, we cannot defang them, we cannot arrest them.
In fact, they're giving them all the M4s and all the other weapons.
That is, you know why? That is their share for fighting against the US.
So they have a code of honor.
Yeah, that you helped us, we've got 100 weapons, ये 20 आपके हैं. It's your loot, it's your malik ganimat. So, and nobody can teach them to fight in their hills. They're far better than the Pakistan army. So they're taking a huge hit. And now the Taliban, the TTP, have coming into the plains.
Yeah.
Like Bannu, in other Tank, in other places. They are now attacking the Pakistan army and camps in these places.
Apparently, 4 army majors were killed in a span of 1 week in Balochistan and KPK just last week.
Yeah.
So tell me this, sir. Pakistan army is virtually not in control of KPK, or at least the hill region or the tribal areas there. Taliban says we don't recognize the Durand line. Our control is all the way. And in fact, I remember I was interviewing somebody good 10 years ago in the administration, and they said we don't recognize, our border is with India. We don't have, what is Pakistan? Is taraf Afghanistan hai, us taraf Bharat hai, Hindustan hai. There's Afghanistan and Hindustan.
Kittho aaya Pakistan?
Kittho aaya Pakistan, exactly. And these guys, they say they are blood brothers and that's a strategic depth. They don't have depth. I once said it on
Taliban
TV.
now have depth in Pakistan.
They have depth in Pakistan.
Because of the GTP. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd once mentioned on TV, for which a lot of criticism came from Pakistan. I said it's a very tiny, narrow, dog-shaped country, which is getting even narrower, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you see, the Durand line, as you mentioned, Taliban don't recognize it. The pressure from the TTP, they want the demerger of Fatah and NWFP. So there is a Pashtun pincer from both sides of the Durand line.
So,
and if Pakistan does not play this imaginatively and sensitively, they can find that it will give mainstream the idea of a larger Pashtun entity.
And they're anyway looking for a Pashtunistan, and the way they're ill-treating the Pashtuns, they're anyway talking about... So they ill-treated Afghans in their own country, the refugees. Now there's trouble in Pashtunistan. There's also massive Shia-Sunni violence that's taking place in that region.
Yeah, there is this one particular district.
They've killed about 70 in one go, and 120, these two villages that were fighting with each other. The military convoys.
And that the army is always used to create trouble between the Shias
and the Sunnis.
And the Sunnis. So for Pakistan, this is a very critical... And you see, if you look at the politics of KPK, you have the TTP now, which is now dominating very districts. You have the mainstream political parties, but the PTI is in power, which is opposition to the federal government. Then you have the PTM, Pakistan Tahaffuz movement, which is a civil society movement, civil rights. They say that we don't want to be treated as cannon fodder, we don't want to go for jihad. And as Manzoor Pushdin, the leader, said, हमने बहुत jihad कर लिया, अब हम पंजाबियों को chance देना चाहते हैं कि आप jihad करो. You go ahead. We don't want to take all the credit. It's about time you went and did this. It's being sarcastic. So, KPK is in turmoil.
And is that the reason that Asim Munir is scared that the weapons that are there with the provincial forces in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa could be used against his Punjabi army? And is that why he's bringing all those state forces as federal forces? And
that is for a different reason. That reason is that he wants to get this. You see, he's changed the frontier constabulary into the federal constabulary. These are all Pathans, Pashtuns, officered by the army, but they're all Pashtuns. It is easier for them to tackle the PTI Punjab protesters
in Punjab
than for a Punjabi force. You see, a Punjabi force will hesitate
to fire at the
Punjabis. You see, during Bhutto's this PNA agitation, 3 brigadiers were sacked because they refused to order their troops to fire at the
Punjabi mob.
Punjabi PNA protesters. 3 of them. That's when Zia decided, ki enough is enough. I need to now stop this and get rid of Bhutto. But a Pathan force will be only too willing.
They'd only be too happy.
Only too happy to tackle the Punjabis. That's why that was done. Not for weaponry as such, but yes, the army is worried because the weaponry that the TTP has or the Baloch have is probably as good, if not better,
Than the Pakistan army.
because it's all left behind by the US.
The M4s.
The sniper rifles, the
sniper
thermal
rifle.
imaging, night vision.
Yeah.
They have access to all that now. And now
And
drones.
the BLA also has it.
And
And the drones.
Yeah. And the BLA has it.
What is the cooperation in your assessment, sir, in the coordination between TTP and Baloch Liberation Army? Because it almost appears that Pakistan's entire, the western part is no longer or in semi-control of the Pakistan army. Balochistan is bleeding and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa
So
is
they
bleeding.
have a tie-up. They have a tactical tie-up in the sense that the Baloch have given space to the TTP. So the TTP have now got their own Balochistan. They got 2 provinces in Balochistan. One is the north, which is Pashtun,
Correct.
and in the Makran coast. So there's a Kalat and Makran province,
Correct.
and one in the north.
So Baloch and Pashtuns, they have
Yeah.
their own border also there.
Yeah. And in turn, the TTP has shared their weaponry and allowed them space for rest and, for sanctuary in Afghanistan. Taliban have allowed that. So, but this is a tactical cooperation. In the sense because their objectives are totally different. The Baloch want separation from Pakistan. The TTP doesn't want separation. It wants to convert,
The entire Pakistan into a caliphate,
into their version of Sharia.
into their version
So
of
there is no meeting ground ideologically. But because they both have a common enemy, they can cooperate tactically. So in many of the operations that they have done, you'll find that the TTP claims credit in something which has been done in the Baloch area.
So what most people don't realize, and I'll come to the India-Pakistan question in just a moment, people think of Pakistan as this one entity that is sending terrorists into our country. The fact remains, within Pakistan, just Pakistan's Punjab province is virtually at war with Gilgit-Baltistan, with Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, with the Pashtun movement in KPK, with Balochistan. I'll come to Sindh and the Cholistan movement, the Cholistan fight in just a moment. But Balochistan, sir, you've written a book on Balochistan, which is supposed to be the biggest, the most authoritative account of their independence struggle from 1948 onwards till date. Is that truly an independence from Pakistan struggle?
Yeah. It is, because during the Pakistan movement itself, the Muslim League didn't even have a presence in Kalat.
In Kalat.
The Khan of Kalat was used Jinnah as a lawyer to argue the case for Kalat's independence. And Jinnah is the one who fought as a lawyer the case for Kalat's independence. But the Muslim League had no presence.
Yeah.
There was a presence in the north, the Pashtun area in Quetta. So you had like Samad Khan and Chakzai and people like that. They were Pashtuns.
But and
In
they
the Baloch-
wanted to be a part of India.
Khan of
Khan of Kalat wanted to be a part of India, and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan wanted to be a part of India.
Yeah.
So imagine that entire belt wanted to be a part of India, and we weren't wise to that.
Yeah, that was, in fact, Ghaffar Khan very tragically told Gandhiji, "You have thrown us to the wolves.
Yeah.
आपने हमें भेड़ियों के आगे फेंक दिया है."
And he was known as the Frontier Gandhi.
Yeah, and Gandhiji was the only guy who struggled to ensure that Khyber, the NWFP at that time, does not remain away from India. But I think the Congress was in too much of a hurry to get independence. They didn't want to negotiate this. Because
Why?
Mountbatten took a stand that if you don't agree to a referendum, you see, what the British did, this Indian independence ka option to join India or to join Pakistan was given to all the elected assemblies. All provincial assemblies voted on it, except in the case of NWFP, because there was a Congress government. And the British realized that if it is given for voting to the assembly, they will vote for accession to India. Then what remains of Pakistan? Because the NWFP for them was the most critical frontier.
Access, frontier.
So they said, no, we will have a referendum and not give it to the assembly. And for reasons which I have not studied, but I'm sure other scholars would have, why did the Congress agree to the referendum? Because elections had been held in 1946
Correct.
on this very issue of India versus Pakistan. This is what Ghaffar Khan said.
Yeah.
He said, अभी तो elections हुए हैं, अब फिर से referendum करा रहे हो एक साल के बाद on the same issue. He said, all right, if you want to do a referendum, then have the third option of Pashtunistan also in the referendum.
वो भी नहीं
Pandit
दिया.
Nehru said no.
I want to understand this mindset of Pandit Nehru because we've studied one kind of history and we haven't really been able to study this. If Pakistan could have a East Pakistan on the other side of India,
Exactly.
why couldn't we have India on the other side of this narrower sliver called Pakistan? NWFP would have been ours and Balochistan would have been ours. Gwadar would have been ours.
Yeah. So, Balochistan, let's leave that for a side. But here, when you had an elected Congress government
Yeah.
in power, and Khan Saab was the chief minister, and who wanted, see, they had supported Congress for the last 20, 30 years of the freedom struggle
Yeah.
and fought with them, shoulder to shoulder in protests, in police, meetings and all that. And the Congress party of the NWFP did not want to go to Pakistan
Yes.
and wanted a referendum that it has already been held. Therefore, why a referendum? The assembly will vote because they had a majority. But I'm at a loss, really, to understand today why this was done. What was the compulsions of the Congress party, compulsions of Pandit Nehru, despite Gandhiji's pressure? That don't do it. Yet they went ahead and accepted to hold a referendum. And once a referendum was decided upon, then the British helped the Muslim League in their propaganda against the Congress. Then finally, the Ghaffar Khan, they boycotted the referendum.
Yes.
So it was, a no-brainer that the referendum will go in favor of Pakistan. But that was, I think, a big tragedy. And Ghaffar Khan always held this against India, that आपने हमें भेड़ियों के आगे रख दिया.
और भेड़िए खा गए उसे
गए।
और अभी भी खा रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल.
And वही भेड़िए बलूचिस्तान को भी खा रहे हैं. So Balochistan in 1948 was an independent country. It wasn't a part of Pakistan.
It wasn't a part of India.
It wasn't part of India, of course. Yeah.
So there then the Khan had sent an emissary to India who met Abdul Kalam Azad, who was at that time the
Abul Kalam Azad, sir.
Yeah, the Congress president. And he said, yes, we agree that you are an independent country, but if you will not be able to defend your independence, and the British will come, and so the weakness, the whole subcontinent will suffer, and things like that. So, and then the tragic thing that the Khan listened to the All India Radio News of 9 o'clock in the evening. And VP Menon had made a statement, Khan's representative came, but we didn't have, something very dismissive. So Khan listened to that broadcast and he was very upset. Then he opened negotiations with Jinnah on, not accession, but what kind of a treaty relationship they could have. So that again was one of these, I think, in hindsight, lost opportunity, but that time, I don't know what the compulsions were, why they did this.
And then Jinnah sent the Pakistan Army marching
In March.
March 1948.
Yeah, because the British prevailed upon him. See, initially, the British thought that they could use Balochistan, Kalat, as a base.
To counter the Soviets.
Not to counter the Soviets, that was NWFP. To protect the wells of power, because oil had suddenly been discovered in the Second World War. This was a crucial thing. They realized this is going to be very important for the future. So, to protect the wells of power. Later on, when they realized that whole of Pakistan was at their disposal, Jinnah was willing to do whatever they wanted, that instead of having a weak Pakistan by Kalat being separated, to have a strong Pakistan with the inclusion of Kalat. So there is documentation. They wrote to the British High Commissioner that prevail upon Jinnah not to accede to Kalat's independence. and force its succession.
So a man who was advocate or lawyer for independence of Balochistan
Yeah.
sent in jackboots and Pakistan army, and that Pakistan army is still in Balochistan and they're still bleeding.
Yeah.
Because
The
Balochistan...
Baloch have not accepted it.
They have not
have
in
not.
48, not in 2025,
Not in 48, not in 58, not in 62, not in 73.
and not in 2005.
Not in, this is the fifth insurgency
The
broke.
fifth
And it's been continuing for the last 21 years.
So, are Baloch in a position to gain independence from Pakistan army, or it's impossible when you're fighting a nuclear state?
No, it's not impossible. No, the nuclear is out of the question. They're not going to nuke Balochistan because
They've already used attack gunships and fighter jets
they've
in the
thrown
past.
everything against them.
They've thrown everything against them.
Artillery, F-16s, helicopter gunships, the works. But the Baloch have not. So it is not impossible for the Baloch to break away. But the problem with Balochistan is that they have a 44% land area of Pakistan, but only 5% of the
5%
population. So this skewed relationship, so therefore their tie-up with the Pashtuns makes a lot of sense. A tie-up with the TTP, because jointly they can do much more damage to the Pakistan army. And the only thing keeping Pakistan together is the Pakistan army. We can make forcibly do this. But for 24 years, if a group has hit out against the army and managed to retain their freedom of action, and now it is getting more and more severe. The Ghaffar Express.
And I believe there's been a second Jafar Express incident also.
Yeah, but the details have not
No, apparently some derailing and some casualties.
Yeah.
Details are not there.
Yeah. And they have coordinated actions all over Balochistan, about 18 districts. They hit simultaneously.
Wow.
They are now in a position to take control of towns. They block the highway between Quetta and Karachi, check passengers, take out the non-Baloch,
Kill the Punjabis.
kill the Punjabis. And not because they are Punjabis, but they are
Outsiders.
outside the ISI agents. You see, ask a simple question. Agar Baloch Punjab jata hai to work, it makes sense because that's a prosperous area. This is not prosperous. Why would a Punjabi come to Balochistan to work? We are poor. There is nothing happening over here. So why are you coming for work? Makes sense.
Point.
So I think ultimately what's going to happen is that the Baloch will attack the 12th Corps headquarters. Will take control of it for an hour even.
Wow.
Then can you imagine that's one thing. The other thing is the strong civil society movement that has started in Balochistan.
This lady,
Yeah,
Maharang
Dr.
Baloch.
Maharang Baloch. Wasn't there earlier. Because now the women say that not protesting is not an option. All our men folk have gone. They've been picked up, they've been tortured, they've been killed. So if we don't protest now, when are we going to protest? So all the women are out, despite being a conservative society. And the other important thing that she makes, a very tragic term called half-widow has come up in Balochistan. That a woman does not know if she's a widow or she's married.
Husband alive or dead.
Her husband is missing for 15 years. What is she? Is she married? Is she not married? So Maharang Baloch said in an interview, she said, look at this lady. How can you scare her anymore? Her husband is missing for 15 years. You think she's worried or scared about anything? She said, mujhe dekh lo. You took my father away and tortured him and killed him. You did it with my brother. How can you scare me anymore? So this fear has gone from the civil society in Balochistan, like it has among the Pashtuns.
And this is when the Pakistan army has an obnoxious track record. I've read that they've burnt Baloches alive, dipped them in burning coal tar, threw them from helicopters, and all of this, their human rights bodies have documented.
Yeah.
And yet Baloch people continue to fight.
Yeah. Because, it's a question of their dignity, their honor, their rights. They realize that if they don't fight now, there'll be nothing left of Balochistan for them. They'll be swamped by
The
people from
Chinese.
different provinces, by the Chinese, by the Punjabis, and there'll be nothing left. There'll be no Baloch left. So that's why they're fighting.
So I read a statement from Maulana Fazlur Rahman. In fact, I think it was in their assembly also, in the National Assembly. He said that there are 7 or 8 districts, I forget the exact number, where the writ of the Pakistan Army does not prevail at all. And apparently that number of late has increased.
Yeah.
So Pakistan Army does not even go into these areas.
It doesn't go in the area, and at night they withdraw. That's why the Baloch are able to block highways, block roads. They've taken control of towns. Mastung, and for 2-3 days, they're the ones patrolling the streets. The army has just pulled out, not been able to control it.
Now, in a situation like this, like if I were the Pakistan Army Chief, God forbid ever, he is being killed from every side, right? He's dying in the Pakistan Army is being killed in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Pakistan Army is being killed in Balochistan. I'll just come to Sindh and their corner plot project in Cholistan Desert in a minute. And there is trouble in Gilgit-Baltistan and in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Why would he then think of terror in India when he's dying on every flank? This is his only stable border.
Because he feels you can unify the country.
But can he in today's day and age?
So, the army plays the narrative war very well. Their one line is, India is out to undo partition. India ne partition kabhi kabool hi nahi kiya. So that is a unifying thing. Then the other slogan like, Hindustan ka jo yaar hai, gaddar hai. Play up on people's emotions. That's why, how does it make sense not to trade with India? They're getting everything from India via Dubai and paying.
Yeah, 3 times the price.
Yeah. So, it's silly of them to do that. So, that's why this incident. That you unify the army, you unify the people behind the army. Army suddenly becomes this knight in shining armor. And one thing you have to give it to them. Their narrative, false, using fake videos, but they're able to get it out quickly. Initial stages of the conflict and the Western media laps it up.
Yeah.
Because the anti-India bias, the Western media just laps it up.
Yeah.
So this is how they feel that through narratives, they can unite the country behind them.
In the long run, and now let me just quickly do Cholistan, and then I'll come to Indus Waters Treaty and Operation Sindoor and the Pahalgam terror attack. Asim Munir is seen as this radical Islamist who then makes all these, speeches anti-India and all of that. And then there is a terror attack in our country. But before that, he's also facing trouble in his own country because they want to make money. Pakistan Army's only reason to exist is hate India and make money for themselves. In the Cholistan Desert, they want Indus Waters to have 6 canals or 8 canals.
6 canals.
They're working on. And Sindh is protesting. Now, can they still go ahead? Right now, that's a tactical retreat for the Pakistan Army. But can Sindh also erupt?
Yes. You see, here the catch was that initially Zardari agreed to this proposal. He signed on to this proposal.
Despite being from Sindh.
When there was continuous protest in Sindh, lasting over 3 months.
No, Zardari wanted 10% from this also.
So then Zardari realized that we will lose because his constituency is Sindh. Interior Sindh.
Larkana is where...
So if people start protesting and they will not vote for us. So we will lose Sindh. Then he changed around his mind. And he said, nahi, we cannot have these canals. It is a threat to the existence of Sindh. The army got very upset with him. You've signed on and now suddenly you are backing out of it. And can you imagine, the water in some of these canals is the surplus water that comes from the Satluj. If you choke the Satluj, as what we are doing now, to make sure no water from the Satluj goes into Pakistan, what canals are?
Exactly.
But so the rest of the water will come from the Indus. They're going to pull water out from the Indus, put it into these canals on the name of commercial agriculture. They're giving it to these big companies to have commercial agriculture.
All owned by Pakistan Army.
But giving them the water. So Sindh, this is I think about 1.2 million acres. But 6 million acres of Sindh will get barren just to abad karo this 1.2 million. It just doesn't make sense. It is a harebrained scheme. But the General Sahib has signed on to it because he's been sold the idea of green agriculture and, that you can desert ko abad kar doge and things like that. A very foolish thing. But now it has been on hold. But ultimately they will revive it. The army will somehow or the other ram its way through.
No, but if they want to revive it with Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance, and so as of now, India is only not sharing data because you can't hold the water. You can harness the entire water of, the eastern rivers like Satluj, Ravi, Beas, we can harness entirely. Chenab, Jhelum and Indus. Indus in Ladakh, I don't know how much water can you divert or do beyond run of the river dams. But whatever other rivers we can harness and we bring it that would make Pakistan
But
in
then
deeper trouble.
you are abrogating the treaty. Right now, the treaty has been held only in abeyance.
Right.
So the first priority, I think, what the government is trying to do is to make sure no water from the Ravi and the Satluj,
Correct. Which are our rivers anyways.
our rivers, are going into Pakistan. So about 3 million acre feet of water from the Satluj is leaking
Correct.
or seeping into
Pakistan.
So Ravi has been stopped. I think by the Shahpur Kandi Dam, this has been stopped. But Satluj you need to stop. That is the first priority. Second, as you mentioned, we're not sharing data. So Pakistanis don't know how much water is going to be released today. If you hold it for 4 days and then you relieve it in a rush, they can't do much about it because agriculture requires consistency.
Yeah.
You need to know how much water is coming in every day. So that is what is disrupting their agriculture. But if you start taking water from the Chenab, for example, if there's a proposal to increase the length of the Ranveer Singh Canal, or to take it from Bias, Ravi, and all the way down to Rajasthan, that will then impact on their agriculture.
Because if they may, and your appreciation of the capabilities of the army post Operation Sindoor, what is your appreciation? So this was more an air operation, artillery operation, missiles were used, technology was used, but armies were not committed per se beyond LC.
So they had mobilized their armies. They had shifted troops from Quetta and Peshawar.
But if they move troops from Quetta and Peshawar beyond a point, Quetta, there'll be trouble in Peshawar and there will be trouble in Quetta.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was no land engagement on the land border. But I think that at the moment, they're trying to replenish, the missiles, the drones, all that was destroyed.
Correct.
Repair the airfields, the command and control system at Noor Khan base and other places. They would be running around, desperately.
So apparently...
Before Sindoor 2.0 gets activated again.
True.
So that's what they are...
No, because I want to understand the situation. Is Pakistan in a position to fight India, given it's in trouble in Balochistan, given the trouble it's facing in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, given our relations with the Taliban in Afghanistan? Does he have enough troops on ground to fight us? Does he have... I believe... It's not been said officially. I believe we've targeted some of his ammunition dumps and some of his missiles, which is, I'm told in that information, I don't know how much of that information is in public domain, but how much of all that he has right now. His command and control was destroyed. A lot of his drones, he may have drones, but he does not have command and control. 11 airfields, I'm sure if our BrahMos can destroy 11 airfields in one go, when we're not even at war, I'm sure if there is escalation, we can destroy all 18. So
they said 18 have been damaged. We are claiming only
11.
11.
Yeah, we are claiming 11. They say 18.
So somebody was making money somewhere.
मतलब इसमें भी पैसे बनाते हैं. Amazing.
Yeah.
Pakistan army is evil to the core and Pakistanis don't realize this. Yeah. But tell me this, are they in a position to fight war with us?
They were never in a position to fight war. Right from 65 onwards, it is only when the US pre-65
gave them the pattern tanks.
Gave them the pattern tanks, gave them the Sabre jets, and boosted their confidence. After that, Chinese weapons started coming in. 81% of their weaponry. Now China threatening to give the F-35 or J-35, sorry. So this is only because of what others give them, leveraging their geographical position. Otherwise, Pakistan is in no position to fight with India.
Because I have a bone to pick with our entire political leadership for decades that permitted Pakistan to punch far above its weight. I mean, it's like a tiny country. It's like a third-rate country. And we permit Pakistan to talk to us as equals, which they aren't clearly.
Yeah. And plus, they have no imagination and long-range,
they have no strategic thinking.
Yeah, it's tactical. Get in the first blow.
Yeah.
फिर चाइना या यूएस से आके
बचा लेगा
और पीछे कर लेगा.
तो हम मान क्यों जाते हैं? हमको ठोक देना चाहिए उनको और ज्यादा.
Yeah, I don't know what the compulsions of our this thing. So I'll tell you a very funny story. After the 65 war, Pakistani delegation went to China in 1966 with a shopping list. Last day of the meeting was with Chow Enlai. So he said, "Yeah, we'll give you whatever you want." He said, "Just one question. I want to know, on what basis have you worked out ammunition for only 14 days. So the Pakistani general said, because after 14 days, the Security Council will step in, ask for us for a ceasefire, and we'll both pull back. So Charan, I said, if you know what the result of the war is going to be, why are you fighting? If you know that after 14 days there will be a ceasefire, तो आप लड़ क्यों रहे हो? You're wasting economic resources. You're wasting the Pakistani general didn't have an answer.
True.
So again, tactical thinking.
Yeah.
They know this is what is going to happen. Then why are you fighting?
Like Musharraf knew how he could get in.
Yeah.
He didn't know how
How
he
to
could
get
get
out.
out.
Yeah.
Or they never factored in that India would use artillery and air power.
Yeah. And this is what he told Nawaz Sharif.
Yeah.
We didn't think that India would react in such a ferocious manner.
Yeah.
Nawaz Sharif looked at him. He said, "Are you a general or what?"
Yeah. No, but is Asim Munir the same? Because when I look at all their military campaigns in the past, tactically they may be brilliant. Strategically, they're a disaster for Pakistan. I mean, even 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, disaster for Pakistan. I mean, किस मुंह से वो कश्मीर की बात करेंगे? Who will talk to an आतंकी देश except our leadership does sadly. It did sadly. But now, post-op Sindoor, your reading of what the Narendra Modi government has been able to achieve through Operation Sindoor?
I think a lot. And the message that has gone across. You see, Uri and Balakot were messages, tactical messages that don't mess with us, don't do it. This time is a strategic message. Because we've hit the headquarters, the snake pits, at Muridke and Bahawalpur. We've taken out 9 terror facilities. We've hit them in 11 airfields. We've taken out their air defense. And they know very well that if they hadn't pleaded and got on their knees on 10th morning, by 10th night, Karachi would have been up in flames. The Indian Navy was waiting.
तो कर देते.
I mean, beyond my pay grade. So the message has certainly gone home.
मतलब एक हम लोग को भी satisfaction मिल जाता ना, ठोक दिया उनको, इतना उन्होंने हमको, they've killed so many of us in decades.
I think, I can't second guess the government, but I think what the government was trying to do is send a message also to the world that, look, our objective was limited to terror facilities because we were countering the terror strike, Pahalgam. So we hit only the terror on the first day. It is when Pakistan reacted by hitting our civilian targets and our military targets, then we went in and gave them a decisive blow.
Very sensible, yeah.
So the world has appreciated that. When they said 190 countries have supported you, they supported you because you did this. You said we are going against terror and you went only against terror. If on the first day you had, let's say, taken out the air defense targets, then everybody would have said, you were planning a war. This is not only terror.
You used Pahalgam as an excuse to hit them militarily.
Yeah.
So that was a sensible decision.
That was a
only
sensible
to hit
decision.
terror.
Yeah. And to call the ceasefire on the 10th. When Pakistan asked for it, you agreed. People say we should have gone in, taken POK, we should have done this, we could have done that. Sure, you could have. But what was your objective? जो लक्ष्य था आपका, which had been laid down on the first CCS meeting. And I think even in the debates, EA made it very clear, the defense minister made it very clear that what was your objective? You achieved that objective, and when they pleaded for ceasefire or stoppage of fighting, you agreed to that because the objectives had been met.
So we're an honorable country and we have that honor code that you pleaded with us, so we have accepted.
Yeah. And you also made it clear that if you now try something, if you go up the escalatory ladder, then be prepared to get hit severely. And this is what we did.
So now that fear is in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Pehle hamare man, because when I started covering defense and even when Kargil war happened, when we used to ask why isn't our Air Force hitting across, वो वाजपेयी जी ने कहा था कि you will not, Air Force will not cross LC and not hit across. Then they said, पागल देश है पाकिस्तान, कुछ भी कर सकता है, nuclear weapon है, कुछ भी कर सकता है. That nuclear bluff with Balakot and now with this has been called out completely.
Absolutely. Because what happened to your Pau K bomb, which you said you will use if ever we are threatened. They've said that if you stop our water, we'll use this. We use an act of war and things. You said, "Acha, karke dikhao." Do it.
But that would make Asim Munir look really silly. I mean, right now, in my view, he may be the Army Chief of Pakistan or a failed marshal. But basically, he's a man who has no honor. He's a man who lost a war. He may have dined at White House, but that's because he's being used. He's like a darban for the Americans for Iran. for Iran operations. So it's
Absolutely.
not a relationship of equals.
Not at all.
And
Not at all.
They're going to China begging for weapons. So it's like a
And in China, he's got an
A
slap
dressing
on
down.
the wrist. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, what are you doing? See, at the back of the minds, the Chinese are not so large-hearted. कि तुम अमेरिका के पास भी जाओ और then you come to us also. You at some stage will have to make up your mind what you want to do. And then what about the security of our people? You allow our army to come in. You allow
Will they have to?
They have been pressing on Pakistan. That if you can't protect our people, we'll send our own people to protect.
But their own army ran away in Congo and they needed protection of the Indian army at the UN mission is what I was told by own army friends.
But they will never admit it, no? They will say, tell Pakis, we'll send our troops, disguised as contractors or whatever, but you allow us to station them in Gwadar.
Is the China-Pakistan economic corridor a viable project even today, or is it
It's
dead?
plateaued out some years ago.
Plateaued out.
Yes, plateaued out. You see, initially the investment was claimed that it will be $62 billion. It's peaked at about 22, 24. No further Chinese money is coming in because they're not getting the rate of return.
They're not getting any returns.
They're not getting returns.
But were they doing it for financial returns, or were they only doing it for access to the Arabian Sea and that
See,
pipeline?
Chinese never do anything free. Even if the strategic access was there, they want the return on the money. Chinese banks are saying, what are you doing? As there is, the Chinese banks are overextended internally. So much of property has been built up and things. So they are overextended. They don't want further, losses on this. So where the objective is strategic, especially for Gwadar and Gwadar airfield, there is also an economic content as far as Chinese were concerned.
So will Pakistan now have to choose either to sail in the American boat or to sail in the Chinese boat, or they can continue sailing in two boats?
They'll continue sailing in. They will in two boats. They have tremendous amount of practice. They have done it all the time. You see, in the war on terror, they were supporting the Taliban, helping them recoup, plan what the action would be, and
Getting money from America.
getting money from America for helping them in the war of terror.
Yeah.
So they were playing both sides. And even in this Noor Khan base, there are reports that there are even Chinese assets were there.
Yeah.
Apparently,
there were reports.
Americans and Chinese both at the same time.
Yeah.
This is kamal hai. It's really...
Truly. Now, when we look at the situation, sir, in your appreciation, militarily they're degraded, politically they're in trouble, socially, economically, where do they stand? I mean, they're living from Katora to Katora to Katora, but IMF is also giving them a bailout, ADB is also giving them a grant, they're getting money from other countries also.
But this is...
How will they repay?
A lot of these are... See, IMF has to recover their money given previously. This is the 23rd or 24th.
A bailout.
Yeah. So the money given earlier, how do they get it back? They have to give Pakistan more money for them to improve their economy so they can get some of their own. You see, ultimately what happens in any relationship, a creditor gets sucked in by the debtor to be able to recover his money. And nobody wants that, a nation of 240 million
to collapse, to become a nuclear Somalia.
Yeah.
I believe you said this somewhere that they shouldn't become a nuclear Somalia.
Yeah. And as it is, Pakistan today is bankrupt. If China, Saudi Arabia, UAE pulled out their money from the State Bank of Pakistan, Pakistan does not have its own foreign exchange reserves because it is consuming more than it produces, which means it needs to buy. And for that, you need foreign exchange. Their exports are not too healthy. The only bright spark in Pakistan is remittances from the people who are abroad. But that also can sustain you for a while, not indefinitely.
And yet they want to buy weapons, and yet they're being given weapons.
Weapons they'll always buy.
So basically, whether America gives them weapons or China gives them weapons, they're giving them those weapons to keep India in check. That's the message.
Yeah. And Pakistan feels that so long as it has some ability to fight, they're okay. Because the army is not impacted by economic crisis.
Their budget has gone up, their salaries are going up, their ministers
so
and
they are
MPs
very
salary.
comfortably off. लोग हैं वो ठीक है.
नहीं तो लोग तो वहाँ मर रहे हैं, आत्महत्या कर रहे हैं, उनकी बच्चियों को बेच रहे हैं. At least those are reports that come from the Pakistani media.
Yeah.
So But
But it
that's a
doesn't-
country that'll never see a revolution. मतलब वो जो हम देखेंगे लाजिम है हम भी देखेंगे is only happening in cocktail party singing.
Yeah. You see, there have been 3 occasions where the people have
So-called
protested.
reason. हाँ,
One, Ayub Khan, that was a student protest.
correct.
Movement for Restoration of Democracy against Zia was a PPP protest in Sindh. And the third was the lawyers' movement. In Pakistan, they don't have a tradition of protesting on economic issues. The price rise, electricity prices going up, they don't have money to send their children to school. That has not happened. Because the informal support systems are still strong. You know, this Biradari system, you're somebody who's working on a farm, the landlord got 1,000 acres. He will make sure that सबके पास
खाना पहुंचता रहे.
थोड़ा खाना पहुंचता रहे सबके पास. So they don't protest.
Sir, Pakistan claims Kashmir is the core dispute. Now, if we were to talk about Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, including Gilgit and Baltistan, so Pakistan may call it its northern areas. It's part of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. What's the actual condition of people in PoJK and in Gilgit-Baltistan?
You see, Gilgit-Baltistan is a very strange constitutional arrangement that they're not part of Pakistan. Legally, nowhere does it say that Gilgit-Baltistan is a part of Pakistan. The Supreme Court has issued judgments on this, that somehow or the other make it part of this. But the reason Pakistan has not done, because they know that if they change the status of Gilgit-Baltistan, they'll be violating the UNCIP resolutions. And if they do that, their links with J&K break. They have nothing. They have no position or standing in J&K. The first thing that they had with J&K was a standstill agreement,
Correct.
which they broke in October 1947. Then if they break the UNCIP resolutions also, then there is no legal link with the J&K. That's why they have not done it. Though China has pressed them, that look, the corridor passes through Gilgit-Baltistan. There is so much of investment being done. You better make sure that this territory doesn't go into India. But they have examined, they set up 3 committees who went into the legal issues of this, but they all decided to status quo hi rehne do. So their position is very indeterminate. People both in PoJK and Gilgit-Baltistan realize that if they were part of Kashmir, they would be much better off.
Yeah.
When they see the situation in Kashmir in terms of, let's say, medical, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, the future of the children would be far superior to what it is now. And they see no hope of it ever improving. Because the way Pakistan is going and the Pakistan conditions, economic conditions are so poor that they will get nothing. If the other provinces are getting nothing, what is going to come to them?
Yeah.
The leftovers.
Yeah.
Then even, let's say, the royalty from the Mangla Dam, which is supposed to go to POK, all the electricity goes to Punjab.
Yeah.
You know, they get nothing.
And I believe there were protests there some time back because they
There
have
always
no
protests.
electricity.
Yeah.
There's no, there was no food, and there was a comparison between what's happening in Jammu Kashmir here
Yeah.
and in POK there.
Yeah. So the problem is that the protests are taking place, but they are not covered. They don't get the kind of mainstream coverage in Pakistan and in India or even the rest of the world, which they should.
Why don't Indian political leadership, leaders raise this issue? For example, Chief Minister Omar Abdullah or Mehbooba Mufti or other political leaders in Jammu and Kashmir. After all, POK is ours. They should be raising that issue, shouldn't they?
It's a very good question. I don't have the answer. I think they should be, told that, today as it is, there is huge amount of flooding which has taken place in Gilgit-Baltistan. I don't know how many people have died, but a lot of loss of property, a lot of flooding in Gilgit-Baltistan. I haven't seen a word coming out from any of the mainstream political parties.
In Ladakh either.
That what is happening over there and what is the kind of assistance that should be given. So it's a good question. Why don't Indian politicians in Kashmir talk about these issues of the other side?
That's point one. Point two, I've had some reports from there, and I always make it a point that I put out these reports on India First whenever possible. Those people sometimes say they want to be a part of India. Do you think they can be a part of India?
You see, any government of India has no option but to accept it. Because there's a unanimous resolution of Parliament in 1994, which says that the entire princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, as it existed in 1947, is a part and parcel of India. So every government of India has to have this as its objectives. To get to that objective, a certain preparatory work has to be done. And I think this is important. I was in government and I felt this was a handicap that we have. You mentioned about understanding Pakistan. Understanding PoJK and Gilgit-Baltistan. You see, we don't know what languages, for example, are spoken in Gilgit-Baltistan. If I were to ask somebody, where is Sheena spoken? Where is Brushaski spoken? Where is Khabar spoken? What are the district headquarters? What is the religious composition of A district and B district? Where are the Ismailis? Where are the Shias? Where are the Sunnis?
In fact, they changed demographic profile right after 1947, getting all the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Sunnis into a Shia-dominated area.
Yeah. So, you need to know these basic facts and know them not in academic environment, but the army area of responsibility, whoever is there, whether it is the IB, whether it is the RNAW, whether it's the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs, across the board in GOI, different agencies must have this information. You must have interpreters, people who can speak Sheena, people who can speak Mirpuri, from the government, so that in any case of a situation where you come, what you had mentioned, you're prepared for it. Today you may not be in a position to know. And then, certain basic facts. The people on the other side, it's not only the OBAT, which everybody says, which Azad Kashmir regiment is there. The retired people, there are two tribes there, the Sattis and the Suddans. They're like the Dogras. They're all armed. So you have a large, hundreds of thousands, not hundreds, at least thousands, tens of thousands of people who are armed on the other side. So you have to know where they are. So that in case of any conflict, you're not just faced with one division.
Correct.
You would be faced with 5 divisions.
Correct. Correct.
So what I want to say is, stressing that information, you prepare yourself.
Our knowledge base has to be very extensive.
Yeah.
Which
I'm sure it's already there, but probably for people who are going to be actually operating on the ground, you need to have this kind of information.
Because I sincerely hope in our lifetime we see, Gilgit and Baltistan as part of India and Muzaffarabad back being in India. Yeah. And that is perhaps that is the biggest thing that could happen in this part. But, when you look at the tragedy that's happening in this region, sir, a part of the tragedy is also the way Pakistan that may claim that, dharm ke naam par, because in the name of religion, they got a separate country. But in the name of religion, they're also exploiting the same Muslims of Afghanistan living in their country for so many decades after, ever since that war against the Soviets happened in that area. Yeah. And how they're being treated now.
Yeah, actually, Afghan is really in a very, sitting on the edge of a volcano. Because not only in Pakistan, from Iran,
yes.
You see in Iran, the feeling, media started propagating, and even the government, that the Israeli attack, that these Afghans are all Israeli spies. So after the Israel-Iran war, about 500,000 Afghan refugees have been pushed out.
5 lakhs is a big number,
yeah.
Sir.
And in the case of many Afghan women, they're stranded at the border because they can't travel, a woman can't travel alone
in Afghanistan.
So without a male to escort them, they're stranded, they have nowhere to go. If they are, let's say, from central Afghanistan, where do they go? How do they go? Similarly, Pakistan first started pushing them out in 2023 in the hope of pressurizing the Taliban
to accept
act
them.
against the TTP.
Yeah.
Like we'll send them out. So in the first, I think in 2023, they set out about 700,000. Now, they're sending out people who have got Afghan cards, proof of residence. Again, about almost close to 800,000 to 1 million. So you take this and you take what Iran is doing, about 2 million people are going to arrive in Afghanistan.
My God.
And the Afghan government is running. How do you take care of these people? But then it is not only Afghanistan and not only Iran and Pakistan. Look at the US. In the US, a temporary protection scheme that has been done away with
by Trump,
by the president, and the court has upheld that. So, large number of people are now fear of being deported.
Those who helped the Americans against the Taliban.
Yeah, And those who were getting resettled, about 40,000 of them in Pakistan, are also going to be pushed back into Afghanistan.
My God.
Then in the UK. In the UK, again, this has been kept under wraps. But the names of 100,000 people, somebody was trying to verify or vet the 33,000 applications were there. And inadvertently sent out an email. And that email has reached the Taliban.
My
So
God.
they've got all the names, family, addresses, everything of
Those who were helping
total of
the...
100,000 people. Yeah, including family members, about 100,000. So secretly, the Britain has got back about 16,000 of them, for resettlement. What happens to the rest?
Yeah.
They're hiding and the Taliban are looking for them.
Goodness.
So, from all around, the poor Afghan refugees and the Afghans are really getting it in the neck.
Yeah.
UK, US, Iran,
Pakistan.
Iran, Pakistan. So, it's a double, triple, quadruple
Whammy for that area.
And it's a humanitarian crisis that is staring us in the face. This is what the UN agencies are saying.
Yeah. It indeed is. Though our relationship with Taliban seemed to be on a mend.
Yeah.
But that's humanitarian assistance.
Yeah. And I think we've done very well in humanitarian assistance, sending wheat. I'm sure if asked for, the UN asked for, I'm sure we'll send it again. The Taliban are very keen to re-establish, but India will not break the international consensus on recognition and setting up missions. So we have an office of interest, but I don't see us taking the lead like what Russia has done by exchanging ambassadors. I don't see that happening, but we'll certainly be keeping tab. There was a very old saying in India that he who wants to be emperor of Hindustan must first control Kabul. All invasions into India came from Afghanistan and Kabul. The British were the only one who came from the sea. So he who wants to be
emperor of India,
Hindustan, must first control Kabul. That's
Very
how our
interesting.
relationship must be very strong with Kabul.
And that I completely agree with. In fact, our entire border belt has to be very strong.
And of course, today is not a question of control in terms of invasions, but terrorism. Ungoverned spaces there will breed terrorists who will then come and attack you.
Well, that's a very interesting point to make, sir. So that's the way Pakistan will keep moving forward. India's strategy is correct that we're not engaging with them. At the same time, we're keeping an eye on them. But we are also planning to play multilateral cricket with them. I also want to raise that issue with you. As somebody who knows the DNA of Pakistan, will playing cricket with Pakistan help improve ties with that country?
No way. No way. They'll see it as a sign of weakness.
Even if it's multilateral cricket?
Yeah, even if it's multilateral cricket.
कि एक कमजोर हिंदू हैं.
Also, I feel at a time, in the wake of Pahalgam, why are you playing cricket? What is the signal that you're giving out? It may be multilateral. Concede the match. If you have to participate, concede the match. But why play with them? Send out a signal. You have stopped the water, you've stopped trade, you've stopped visas, you've closed the border, you've pulled out staff from the missions, but yet you want to play cricket? This is my personal view. I'm not sure. Whatever decision government takes on BCCI.
I heard Asaduddin Owaisi say it in Parliament, and he spoke from the heart, it seems. Yeah. But then there are those who will say, fine, you may pull out of cricket, but will you pull out of Asian Games? Will you pull out of Olympic Games? Even though the Soviet bloc pulled out of Los Angeles Games and the Western bloc pulled out of the Moscow Olympic Games.
No, but why should you pull out of the game? If it worse comes to worse, you concede. You don't play that match. Concede a match. But why should you pull out of multilateral games? Just because of the presence of Pakistan. And
if we are strong in ICC, we should try and ensure that they are out of...
exactly.
If South Africa could be barred.
So in the last World Cup, we made sure that the matches were not played in Pakistan. We played the matches elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they had to agree to that.
No, but now, unfortunately, we've also agreed to play, when India is the host, we've agreed to play Asia Cup in Dubai, in UAE. So...
Yeah, but I somehow feel that we should not be playing cricket with Pakistan for a long time to come, till they actually abjure credibly terrorism and violence against India.
Because Pakistan continues to support Hafiz Saeed and Masood Azhar?
Absolutely. And recently there was reports I think it was India Today, that Masood Azhar was spotted in PoK.
Yes. Yes.
And Bilal Bhutto says he's in Afghanistan. What are they saying?
And Bilawal Bhutto actually speaks the language of Hafiz Saeed and Masood Azhar.
Yeah.
Same words.
Same water and
Same water and blood and all that.
Yeah.
We don't understand Pakistan's DNA. I mean, I really want to know our not the current political leadership, but our civil society, our governments in the past.
You see, I think as a nation, we sincerely believe in peace and living as friends with our neighbors. We sincerely want them to behave in a better manner. But, not realizing the kind of beast you're faced with.
Yeah. Understand the nature of the beast and deal accordingly.
Yeah.
Shathe Shatyam Samacharit is what was said.
Yeah.
That deal with the enemy the way the enemy would deal with you.
Yeah.
And no Prithviraj Chauhan syndrome. Don't forgive a Muhammad Ghori, because next time he will come and sort you out.
Yeah.
And we should learn from our history.
Because, if tables are reversed, they will do far worse to you.
True.
Today they're in a weaker position, so they're not able to.
Yeah.
But the minute they become strong, hopefully not, but the minute they become strong, they will do to you what you were in a position to do to them, but you didn't.
I will let that be the last word on this part of the show, sir. A word of caution from you, someone who understands Pakistan so well. Thank you very much
so much,
for
Gaurav.
this great conversation.
Really
great
nice
conversation.
talking to you. Thank you so much for calling me.
Thank you very much for being here, sir. And I hope that this is a message that we Bharatvasis carry in general. Understand the nature of your enemy. Understand the way he wants to bleed you, that he's bled you constantly and would continue to bleed you. If you are stronger, then you are safer. Remain strong. Ensure that your enemy is weak. That's the only way. As some analysts have argued in the past, it shouldn't be just an eye for an eye. It should be both his eyes for an eye and his entire jaw for a tooth. Perhaps that's the only way to keep India safe and India first. Many thanks for watching. Keep watching India Today and follow us, the Chakravyuh Podcast on India Today.